Hello beauties, how are you all doing? My name is Shaz, short for Shahrazad, and I love colorful makeup. Today I'm so excited because I want to talk to you about brands that I want to try for the first time in 2023. I made another video talking about brands that I tried in 2022 for the first time. I'll tag it here for you. But I'm so excited about trying some new brands in 2023, although right now I'm on a no-buy. But sometime the no-buy will end. So if all of that sounds good to you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Now let's get started. So the first one that I want to talk about that I keep eyeing here and there, literally everything they release, I am kind of excited about at some level, is MBA Cosmetics, friends. So MBA Cosmetics has had some very interesting launches. They've had small palettes, larger palettes. This year they have very colorful palettes. It's one of those brands I've never used, but I'm very intrigued about. Their latest palette that was all purple, Celestial Moon. Beautiful, friends, and the brand is also relatively reasonably priced. Also, with MBA Cosmetics, you can use a lot of discount codes, friends. Don't forget to do that. I'm definitely excited, and I think there is some MBA Cosmetics happening for me in 2023. I can't believe it's 2023 already. Can you believe that? And separate from their colorful palettes, they also have a lot of single multichromes, and I know I've featured them multiple times in my to buy or not to buy, and I feel like almost every time I feature them, I kind of say there is something I want to purchase from them. It just hasn't happened, but I know it's going to happen at some point very soon. Also, friends, before I continue, I did this eye look in one of my to buy or not to buys. I used a couple of palettes. I'll just link that to buy or not to buy here so that you can go check it out. But I absolutely love this multichrome here. Moving on. The next brand that I want to try for the first time in 2023 is Pastel Roses UK. This is another one of those brands very similar to MBA Cosmetics that I always hear about having very good quality, having single multichrome releases, colorful palettes releases. They recently had a couple of colorful palettes released, and I'm generally intrigued, friends. I can definitely foresee purchasing from them. I've seen multiple YouTubers do swatch videos of their bestseller multichromes, and friends, sometimes when I look on their website, the prices don't look as high as the prices in the US. Although it's a UK-based brand, so you might have to pay a lot for shipping. I don't know for a fact. I know them mostly for very exciting multichromes. I think I've seen Bad to the Brow at least do a couple of videos on them where she swatched single multichromes and single colorful, very shifty shades, and I'm so excited to possibly add them to my repertoire of single shadows, if you can even call it that. But I'm very excited about trying them just to be able to have some perspective. The next brand that I like to try, but I don't know if it will happen, is Lethal Cosmetics. The reason I like to try Lethal Cosmetics is that I keep hearing about how good the quality is. I keep hearing about how everybody wanting to try it. I thought about purchasing the collab with Teresa's Dead. I think at that point in time, I purchased too many things, and then a little time passed and the palette became old news. Friends, if you own a channel, you're gonna end up purchasing a whole lot of palettes. And then you could be faced with the situation where I'm in right now, where you realize you have a lot of palettes you haven't even touched, which is why I'm on a no-buy, because I want to use all of these palettes. I was kind of excited about purchasing their multichromes just to compare, but the price of their multichromes was just too high, and I kind of heard through the cracks that the quality is not comparable to like Cleona's and so on. So obviously I would opt for Cleona, but I'm still interested. The next brand that has caught my attention these past, I want to say 3 or so months, is Ensley Rain. The palette they did in collaboration with Brittany Huffman, people, that palette was insane. That palette is so beautiful. If I had not purchased an ungodly amount of things during Black Friday. I feel like that palette could have happened for me. I also saw some swatches and I saw some people doing reels and stories with it on Instagram, and it's just so beautiful. So I'm definitely intrigued about potentially trying them in 2023. And as I said, I would have totally purchased that Brittany Huffman palette if I wasn't on a low buy. Yeah. The next brand, friends, if you've been watching my channel, you probably already heard about, is Bella Beaute Bar. And yes, I've been wanting their Strange and Unusual palette, and then I feel like at some point I just gave up, and now I'm on a no buy, so it's not going to happen for me. But it is a brand that I'm very curious about. They are known for very colorful palettes. They've done at least a couple of collaborations that I can remember. Oh, actually more than a couple, like 3 or 4 collaborations in the past 5 or so months. I definitely want to try them. I've heard good things through the cracks. I've seen some videos on that Strange and Unusual palette, friends, and I'm definitely intrigued, and I would really like to use them in 2023. Of course, I've mentioned in the past, my priority at this point for purchasing items is purchasing unique items that are going to add value to my collection. The next brand, friends, that I'm excited to potentially try in 2023 is Odins Eye. Interestingly, Odins Eye was on my list for 2022. I feel like I missed out on the Large Wolves. Was that the name? Large Wolves, in collaboration with Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner. That was a palette that I really wanted, and then I kept not purchasing and not purchasing and not purchasing. I kind of talked myself out of it. And then because it was limited edition, it went out of stock, and then it was gone for good. And then I kept thinking to myself, girl, why don't you buy this? The only 2 palettes from this year that I really wanted to have and I feel like I missed out on were the Christmas palettes. I was out on a business trip when those palettes came out, and I feel like there were no restocks, right? Or there might have been just 1 restock. So I just kind of missed out on that. I thought it was going to come back and it didn't. So I kind of missed out on it. I can't remember any other releases this year from them that I wanted. If they come out with exciting things like those palettes that I named, you can be guaranteed I'm not going to miss out next year. Or this year. Why do I keep saying next year? It's already 2023. Another thing I wanted to say, friends, about Odins Eye is that they recently released colorful singles, and you know that singles are totally my thing, so maybe that ends up being what I purchase from them. You never know. Another brand that I'm kind of excited for trying in 2023 is Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. I've seen a lot of things, and I've just kind of been eyeing Playing in Makeup by Yolondo because they do a lot of colorful things. Particularly their smaller, 5-pan or 6-pan palettes. I think those are a little bit more up my alley versus the gigantic palettes. Friends, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I keep saying you don't need gigantic palettes. Nobody needs gigantic palettes. So no gigantic palettes for me, but I like their color stories usually, and I've heard fantastic things about their quality. So I'm intrigued for possibly trying them in 2023. Again, if they come out with something at least relatively unique. The next brand, friends, that I'm excited for trying in 2023, that I kind of got to know about, I want to say a month, 2 months ago, more or less during Black Friday sale, is Face Glaze. So it is a brand that's sold on Etsy, and they do a lot of very shifty, colorful, multi-chromey type singles, and those are the types of things that are up my alley. In 2022, I got introduced and purchased a whole lot of things from Touch of Glam, and maybe Face Glaze is going to be my Touch of Glam for 2023. We'll see. And by the way, the multichrome on my eye is from Touch of Glam. The next brand that I think I will try in 2023 is Notoriously Morbid. Friends, the things we saw from Notoriously Morbid in 2022 were pretty colorful, pretty different. I remember they had at least a couple of palettes that I was like, this is interesting. That's what I want. And they had some lip stuff that looks so shifty and multi-chromey, and I feel like they're going to get my money one of these days. I have been featuring them in my to buy or not to buys just because they grab my attention, right? So yeah, I feel like they're going to happen for me in 2023. Another brand that I've been kind of looking at from afar, but I ended up not purchasing anything from in 2022, but I think will happen for me in 2023 is Gourmande Girls. So friends, in 2022, they had a lot of pretty colorful palettes, some matte, some all shimmer palettes, and I heard pretty good reviews about them. And their stuff is generally pretty up my alley. It just so happened that they never released something that was unique enough in 2022 for me to want to pick up, or perhaps it launched at the same time that I'd done another purchase and I just didn't have the budget to buy. But I think they might happen for me in 2023. I'm going to continue following them and see what they have to say, and we'll see. Friends, the next brand I want to talk about that I think I might purchase from in 2023 is Klarity Cosmetics. Since I learned about their Evil Mermaid palette earlier this year, I've just been looking at everything they released. I remember they released the Croc palette a month or so ago. And friends, although that's a pretty much neutral palette, it was so beautiful. And they also had a couple of other palettes that were kind of multi-chromy. Yeah, they're totally the type of brand that I might even dupe if I don't end up buying from. But their palettes are so pretty and they're so colorful and very much up my alley. So I could see them happen for me in 2023. Friends, the next brand I wanted to talk about is Pink Crush Cosmetics. I learned about Pink Crush, I want to say in 2021, towards the end of 2021, through Etsy. Pink Crush is one of those brands that does so many beautiful color stories and colorful palettes, and I remember getting introduced to them towards the end of 2021, and I would just go on Etsy and keep adding different palettes to cart, but I never ended up checking anything out. So I don't own anything by them. I've never tried them, but I'm very intrigued and I've been sort of watching them from afar. But maybe this is the year, and maybe this is the year where I'm going to try them for the first time. The next brand that I think might happen for me in 2023, I actually thought this brand would happen for me during the holiday sales and the Black Friday sales in 2022, but it just so happened that it didn't happen, is Give Me Glow. A couple of things from Give Me Glow that I thought I might want to have. One of them is their Xenon Multichrome. The other one is their, Fiesta Multichrome. And then their Empty Magnetic Palettes. They're so beautiful and I thought I might pick one of them up, but I've ended up not purchasing anything from them to date. But who knows? Maybe they happen for me in 2023. And friends, there are 3 more brands, so let's do the third one. I really hope to be able to get my hands on a Tammy Tanuka in 2023. I think Tammy Tanuka, is it Sigil inspired or something is the name of the brand? I think it's a Russian brand, either a Russian brand or it delivers from Russia. And with everything that's going on in the world, I've heard you can't really get it delivered to the US. But friends, I've heard fantastic things about that brand and I really hope I find a way to get my hands on one. If you know of any methodologies, write them in the comments below, please. But yeah, it's been a brand that's been on my radar. Clearly didn't happen in 2021 or 2022. Hopefully will happen for me in 2023. Friends, I have 2 more things to go, so let's do it. The second from last brand that I think might happen for me in 2023 is Copacetic Cosmetics. I know Copacetic has $2 Tuesdays or $2 Thursdays where they do some shadows for $2, and I've also heard about some cool multichromes. Yeah, I've heard great things about them. I've also heard they have great quality. I looked at their website and their prices seem pretty reasonable. So I think it's gonna happen for me sometime this year. And last but not least, friends, the last brand that I'm really hoping to be able to get my hands on in 2023 is a Chinese indie brand called Narimi. Friends, I've talked about this brand in this channel in the past. I don't think there are that many people who know about this brand, but the few reviews I've read about this brand has been fantastic, and some of the palettes that I've seen online, they just look so colorful and so beautiful. I know they're sold in China on Taobao. I don't know of any methodologies to get them from China to the US, but I have been sort of searching them every once in a while online. My boss periodically goes to Singapore, and I'm 2 seconds from telling him I'm gonna order something to his hotel room for him to bring for me. Yeah, I know. Hopefully we'll find a way to get this brand to the US, but I'm very intrigued to try this brand in 2023. With that, friends, we come to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Write down for me, what is the top brand you want to try in 2023? Thanks again. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I love you all. Happy New Year, and until next time. Bye.